This video is going to cover expanding and factorizing on the booklet 3 in the higher tier. And we've got the question, expand in brackets x minus 4 and then in other brackets x minus 5. So I've set this up in the grid method way, where I put one bracket at the top and another bracket on the side. It could be the x minus 5 at the top and x minus 4 on the left hand side. It doesn't really matter, it'll still give us the same answer. So then we just multiply across to get the full answer. So we've got x times x, which is x squared, and then x times minus 4, which is just minus 4x, x times minus 5, which is minus 5x, and then minus 5 times minus 4, which is plus 20. And if you write that out in a line, we'll have x squared minus 4x minus 5x plus 20. And the minus 4x and the minus 5x come together to make minus 9x. So x squared minus 9x plus 20. And that's fully expanded then. The next question is expand the following expression and simplify your answer as far as possible. We got x plus 5 in brackets and x minus 3 in brackets. So we'll do it the same method, which is the grid method. That's going to be x and then plus 5 and then x and minus 3, and we're going to be multiplying, so it's x times x, which is x squared, x times plus 5, which is plus 5x, x times minus 3, which is minus 3x, and minus 3 times plus 5, which is minus 15. If we write that out, we got x squared plus 5x minus 3x minus 15. The 5x and the minus 3x come together to make 2x. So it's x squared plus 2x minus 15. And that's fully expanded and simplified as far as possible. Next, now we have expand and simplify 5 bracket 3m plus 7 close bracket minus 3 bracket 4m minus 1. And I set this out as a grid method for the one bracket, expand the one bracket fully, then expand the other bracket fully, and then bring it all together at the end. So we're going to need two grids for this. I'll do 3m and then plus 7 and 5. So 5 times, because we're multiplying, 5 times 3m is 15m, and then 5 times 7 is plus 35. So we've got 1 down, which is 15m plus 35, and we're going to simplify later on once we've expanded this bracket too. So we're going to have 4m minus 1 and then minus 3, because it's a minus 3 there. So we've got minus 3 times 4m is minus 12m, minus 3 times minus 1 is plus 3. So in full now we've got 15m plus 35 minus 12m plus 3. So we've got 15m minus 12m is just 3m. And then 35 plus 3 is plus 38. And that's fully expanded and simplified as far as possible. And the next part of the question is simplify this, which is 4 bracket 2x plus 7y close bracket and then plus 3 bracket 2x minus 3y. So we set it up the same way, and we just do two separate calculations and bring them all together. So we've got 4 2x plus 7y, which is going to be 8x plus 28y. So we write that in, 8x. And then the next bracket is 2x minus 3y and then the plus 3. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times minus 3y is minus 9y. So it's plus 6x minus 9y. 8x plus 6x is 14x. And then 28y minus 9y is plus 19y. I'm moving on through the booklet now to the factorising section. And we've got factorise 6x squared plus 2x. Do that in the book. So a sort of foolproof method of how to factorise something like this is we look at one number goes into 6 and into 2, which is going to be 2. One letter goes into x squared and x, and that's going to be x. We've got 2x, we can't take anything more out. Then what do we multiply 2x by to get 6x squared? Well, that's going to be 3x, because 3x times 2x is 6x squared. And what do we multiply 2x by to get 2x? Well, that's just 1. So it's 2x bracket 3x plus 1, that's the full answer. So question 8 in this booklet is simplify 4p cubed r to the power of 6 times 3p r squared. In fact, we've got to multiply. Is a lot like the indices rules that we know. So when it comes to multiplying two different things, we're going to have to multiply the base numbers together, so that's going to be 12. And we're also going to have to add the powers for p, so it's going to be p to the power of 4, because p on its own is the equivalent of p to the power of 1. So then 3 add 1 is 4. And then r to the power of 6 times r squared is r to the power of 8. And that's simplified as well as it can be. Part B of this question then is factorise 6a squared b plus 9a. So we ask ourselves what number goes into 6 and 9, and that's 3. And then what goes into a squared and a, that's going to be a. And there's only one b on the one side, so we can't take out b. So then what do we have to multiply 3a by to get 6a squared times b? So that's going to be 2ab. We can't forget the b. So 3 times 2 is 6, a times a is a squared, and then b on its own is just b. And then plus, what can we multiply 3a by to get 9a? Well, that's just plus 3. And that's fully factorised then. The next question now is expand the following expression, simplify where your answer as far as possible. We've got x minus 7 in brackets and x plus 3 in brackets. We're just going to do this through the grid method. We've got x minus 7 and x plus 3. So that's x squared minus 7x plus 3x and then minus 21. So we've got x squared minus 7x plus 3x plus minus 21. And if you put all that together, now the minus 7x and the plus 3x will make x squared a minus 4x. And then obviously minus 21 at the end. So we've got x squared minus 4x minus 21. So question B on this question is factorise x squared minus 25. And this is actually called the sum of the squares. So we could solve it through PSF, but when we've got a number on the end which is a square number, a negative square number, the negative of a square number I guess, and no number in front of x, so there's no x involved at all, we just use the sum of the squares, which is basically x and then whatever the square root of the number is, which is 25, we have a positive version and a negative version. So if I did PSF, let's say, we'd have minus 25 and 0, and then two numbers that would multiply to make minus 25 and cancel each other out would be minus 5 and plus 5. So that's what I've done, okay? And that's going to help in a question later on when it comes to factorising with square numbers involved. So this question now, we've got factorise 16q squared minus 25. And like the question before, we've got a sum of the squares again. You notice 16 is a square number, q squared is obviously a square number. and then minus 25. So we're going to have to do the same as we did in the previous question, which was x squared minus 25. And we're just going to put the positive, well, the square root of 16, which is going to be 4, and then q, and then a positive answer for the square root of 25, which is plus 25, plus 5, and then the same again, exactly the same again, except we're going to have a negative version, minus 5. We could do this in full PSF, but we'd have fully factorized through PSF, but we'd have 16 times minus 25, which is a horrible number to work with. But we would end up leading to this scenario here. So I thought I'd teach you the sum of the squares on through this nice and quickly, with a coefficient in front of, well, x, but q in this scenario. The next part of this question then is to factorize 4q squared plus 3q minus 10. And yeah, we would do this through PSF. So we're going to have minus 40 as p because it's 4 times minus 10, and then plus 3, and then two numbers that make minus 40. We're going to have the biggest one as a positive and then the smallest one as a negative, so we end up with a positive answer for the sum. I think it's 8 then minus 5, because 8 take away 5 is plus 3, and 8 times minus 5 is minus 40, so that checks out. Now we're going to do 4q squared plus 8q minus 5q minus 10. So if we look, we haven't actually changed the question anyway. We've just replaced 3q with 8q minus 5q, because 8q minus 5q is 3q, so we haven't changed it anyway. Now we're going to factorize this bit and then factorize this bit. So 4q squared plus 8q, let's factorize this bit first. It's going to be 4q, and then in brackets is going to be q plus 2, and then with minus 5q minus 10 we can take out minus 5, and we'll be left with q minus 2, and then put, oh, q plus 2, sorry, and then putting it all together we'd have 4q minus 5 and then q plus 2. The final part of this question then is hence simplify 16q squared minus 25 all over 4q squared plus 3q minus 10. So we're going to use the answers to A and B then to solve C. So we're going to do this through rewriting. We've got 16q squared minus 25 over 4q squared plus 3q minus 10. We're going to rewrite this now using after it's been fully factorized. So with the factor 16q squared minus 25 factorized is 4q plus 5 4q minus 5, and that's going to be over 4q minus 5 and q plus 2. So if we can see though, 4q minus 5 is in the numerator and the denominator, so they cancel out, and we're going to be left with 4q plus 5 over q plus 2. And that's simplified then as far as it can be. So this question asks us to factorize 18x squared plus 27x plus 4 and hence solve the equation 18x squared plus 27x plus 4 equals 0. So the first step is to obviously factorize, and we're going to do this through PSF, and P is the first number in front of x squared multiplied by the last number, which is 18 times 4 is 72. S is the middle number which in front of the number in front of x, which is 27.
and we've got to think of two numbers that make a product of 72, so multiply to make 72, and add to make a sum of 27. And that is 24 and 3. So we're going to replace 27x now with 24x and 3x instead. 18x squared plus 24x plus 3x plus 4. And now we're going to split this off and factorize this part and then the next part. So to factorize 18x squared plus 24x, we can take out 6x, I think that's the most you can take out. And you'll be left with 3x plus 4. And then when you're factorizing 3x plus 4, you can't take anything out, so well, you can only take out 1. So you're going to take out plus 1. And then in the brackets there's going to be 3x plus 4. So as we can see now, we've got 3x plus 4 and 3x plus 4 in the two brackets, so we can bring this together now to 6x plus 1 and 3x plus 4. But the question asks us then to solve as if this is equal to 0. So factorizing doesn't actually change in any way, so we can say that this is equal to 0. The two brackets equal to 0. Now, either 6x plus 1 equals 0 or 3x plus 4 equals 0. One of the two brackets has to equal 0. So then 6x will equal minus 1, and then x will equal minus 1 over 6, or 3x will equal minus 4, and then x will equal minus 4 over 3. So x equals minus 1 over 6, or x equals minus 4 over 3. So part B of this question is to factorize 64x squared minus y squared. And this goes back to one of the previous questions about the difference in the sum of the squares. So if you look at them, all three terms are square numbers. We've got 64, which is 8 squared. We've got x squared, which is obviously x squared. And then we've got y squared, which is y squared. So to factorize this, we have the difference in the sum of the squares, which is just 8x minus y. If we just square root each individual term, so 64 squared is 8. The square root of 64, sorry, is 8. Square root of x squared is x. And then we have minus y. And then we're going to do exactly the same, but just put a plus y on the end instead. And when you expand the brackets here, the middle term that you would get would obviously cancel out involving x and y. So that's fully factored. And finally, part C is hence simplify 64x squared minus y squared all over 8x minus y. We've got that here, but we can rewrite 64x squared minus y squared into this, which is 8x minus y into brackets and 8x plus y into brackets. So if we look, we can see that 8x minus y is in the numerator and the denominator, so they'll cancel out. So all we've got left is 8x plus y on its own, and that simplified the question fully. The next question is to factorize 6x squared plus 19x plus 10. And we've just got to do that through PSF. Where P is the coefficient, which is just the number, in front of x squared times by the constant, which is 10. So 6 times 10, which is 60. S is the number in front of x, which is 19. And then two numbers which multiply to make 60 and add to make 19. That's going to be 15 and 4. So I'll replace 19x with 15x and 4x. 6x squared plus 15x plus 4x. It doesn't really matter which order these two are in, but I'll just do it in this order for now. And then we're going to factorize the two different parts here. So we can take out just 3x, I think we can take out of the first bit, and we'll be left with 2x plus 5, and then we can take out plus 2 from 4x plus 10, and we'll be left with 2x plus 5. And then the two brackets here are the same, 2x plus 5, so the 3x plus 2 can go together, and the 2x plus 5 can go together. And that's fully factorized. Part B is to simplify 6x squared plus 19x plus 10 all over 10x plus 25. So I've got that here. We know we can factorize or simplify 6x squared plus 19x plus 10 into this, so I'll just do that now from the question above. Right, so we've got that, and underneath we've got 10x plus 25. Right now, if I put that underneath, it's not going to cancel out anyway. So what we could do is try and factorize it. If we can factorize 10x plus 25, and I know I can take out 5, so I'll be left with 2x plus 5. So I factorized 10x plus 25. Left with that. Now we can see that 2x plus 5 is in the numerator and the denominator, so they're going to cancel out, and that'll just leave me with 3x plus 2 as the numerator and 5 as the denominator, and that's the answer. 3x plus 2, I'll put in brackets, all over 5 has simplified the question. So the next question is factorize 6a squared minus 8ab. Got that here. So I know what numbers we can take out. We can take out 2 from 6 and 8. And I can also take out a from a squared and ab. If I take 2a out of 6a squared, I'll be left with 3a. And if I take 2a out of minus 8ab, I'll be left with minus 4b. So that's fully factorized. So this question here is factorize 15x squared plus 7x minus 2. So we've got to go through PSF. We've got to, the P is going to be minus 2 times 15, which is minus 30. And then S is going to be 7. So F is going to be, one's got to be a positive, one's got to be a minus to make to multiply to make minus 30. So one's got to be, it's going to be plus 10, or plus here, and minus 3. Because they multiply to make minus 30, and obviously 10 take away 3 is 7. So we replace now 7x with 10x minus 3x. So 15x squared plus 10x minus 3x minus 2. We're going to split it in half. Factorize 15x squared plus 10x. That's going to leave us with 5x outside the bracket, and then 3x plus 2. And then if we factorize minus 3x minus 2, we're going to have minus 1. And then it's going to have to be 3x plus 2. Because minus 1 times 3x is minus 3x. And minus 1 times plus 2 is minus 2. So that's done. And then to fully factorize, it will be 5x minus 1 in brackets, and 3x plus 2 in brackets. So question B on this question is simplify 15x squared plus 7x minus 2 all over 6x squared plus 4x. So I've got that here. We can rewrite the numerator as 5x minus 1 in brackets and 3x plus 2 because I factorized the numerator into this earlier. But we still have the denominator, which hasn't been factorized yet. So if I factorize the denominator, 6x squared plus 4x, because that isn't in either of the brackets, I'm going to have to factorize it. I'll get 2x and then 3x plus 2 in the brackets. So now I can see now that I've got a common factor in the numerator and the denominator, which is 3x plus 2. So they're going to cancel out. And I'm going to be left with 5x minus 1 as the numerator. And as the denominator, I'll have 2x. So this next question is to factorize 15x squared minus 19x minus 10 and then solve the equation. So we're going to have to do PSF for this. P is going to be minus 150 because that's minus 10 times 15. S is going to be minus 19. And then two numbers that multiply together to make minus 150 and add together to make minus 20 is going to be 25, and 6 are the two numbers. We have to use minus 25 and plus 6. Yeah, that works out. So we're going to have 15x squared minus 25x plus 6x minus 10. And we factorize in parts. We can take 5 out and x out. I will be left with 3x minus 5. And then to take out of 6x and minus 10, we could take 2 out, or plus 2 we should say, and we'll be left with 3x minus 5. And then to fully factorize it, we're going to get 5x plus 2 and 3x minus 5 in brackets. The final part of this question then is to solve 15x squared minus 19x minus 10. So we're going to make it equal to 0. So we'll have two options. Either this bracket is equal to 0 or this bracket is equal to 0. So either 5x plus 2 is equal to 0 or 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. So 5x equals minus 2 to solve this one. And then x equals minus 2 over 5. Or 3x equals 5 and then x equals 5 over 3. So we've got two options. So the final question now in this section is to simplify 2x squared plus 13x plus 21 all over 4x minus 49. So I've got this here. And we'll focus on simplifying the numerator, then the denominator, then we'll put them together. So the numerator is a simple quadratic, which is 2x squared. Simple quadratic, which is PSF that. So P is going to be the 21 and the 2 times together. So that's going to be 42. And then S is going to be 13. And then the factors are going to be 6 and 3. 6 and 7, sorry. So we're going to place 13x with 6x and 7x. So it's going to be 2x squared plus 6x plus 7x plus 21. And then we're going to factorize this first part and then factorize the second part. So to factorize 2x squared plus 6x, we can take 2x out and we'll be left with
x plus 3, and when we factorise 7x plus 21, we'll be left, we can take out 7 and we'll be left with x plus 3. So to put it all together, we've got 2x plus 7 in one bracket, and then x plus 3 in another bracket. So that's the top quadratic simplified. Now we can simplify, we can factorise the bottom quadratic, the denominator, which is actually 4x squared minus 49. So to factorise 4x squared minus 49, that is the difference of the sum of the squares, because they're all square numbers. And all we do is we square root the 4, which is going to be 4 square root x, and square root 49, so it's going to be plus 7, and then also the same again, 2x, but then we've got to use a minus instead, minus 7. So to put it all back together, we're going to have 2x plus 7, and then x plus 3 is the numerator, and then 2x plus 7 and 2x minus 7 as the denominator. And as we can see, 2x plus 7 and 2x plus 7 are in the numerator and denominator, so they'll cancel out, and we'll be left with x plus 3 over 2x minus 7. And that's simplified then.